What the fuck? Should have had that wing inspected, dude.
What's up, Will? It's Andy. It's time to get your glider inspected. If it's been 100 hours, if it's been over a year, if it's been to an SIV, time to get her inspected, bud. Take it easy.
And if you purchased a used wing or fly a lot of high-G maneuvers, have it inspected by a pro like Andy Fuller. It's my dangling from a string, so why not? Poseidon, I beseech thee, what is a knot?
A unit of speed of equaleth to 1 nautical mile per hour, hence thus forth useth by ships, flying machines, and yonder winds.
Huh, thought you were a dude, but seriously, who talks like that?
One, 2, 3, 4.
Now we can just look at a watch or phone for the same info. You just don't want it to become a distraction, and if you keep it simple, these devices are really useful. It sure beats doing it this way. So say you've got 20 knots and you want to convert that to miles per hour. First, don't panic. And second, just pretend you're tipping an average waitress and add 15%. It's a quick little conversion that'll get you in the ballpark. Speaking of tips, check out the Gaggle app. It records your progress, provides navigation, replays your flight in 3D, and just recently they've added the ability to monitor air traffic. It's a great little app and what I use to cross the state of Florida. My buddy Eric's got himself a new wing. He's going to kite it some, hopefully launch it, and we're going to try to land out somewhere. The new wing's got a higher aspect ratio than what he's used to, and that's just a fancy way of saying you've divided the wing's length by its average width. A higher aspect ratio wing is typically longer, thinner, faster, has lower drag, but it also has lower lift. A lower aspect ratio wing is shorter, fatter, has higher lift, but also higher drag. These are both great wings. It just depends on what you want to do. Like everything else in aviation, it's a trade-off. Got a spectator here. What you think about Paramotors?
This is awesome.
Something tells me you're gonna figure it out. Whoa! Oop. Think the wing's getting smarter. Send it. That was 3 in a row.
You know what that means? Understood.
Full send. So he said the first 5 or 6 times that it kind of worried him a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe he wasn't going to be able to do it, but I can so relate to that. When I switched from the Charger to the Colorado, they're both great wings. They're just slightly different. But it's those differences that can throw me off my game and why it's important to kite a wing before you fly it. Show me your riser burns
Yes,
there.
sir. After like 10 or 11 times of pulling this rascal up.
Right on. Congratulations. I love my flying tunes, and I've tried everything when it comes to listening to music and flying. Haven't found the perfect setup yet, but I've got it down to 2. The Bose Quiet Comfort and the Oxium T17. The Bose has noise cancellation, which blocks motor noise about 60%. They've got great sound quality, but they lack ear hooks, so there's always a chance of one coming out of your ear. And they cost around $300. The Oxium costs $30. It's got decent sound, has ear hooks, but it lacks the noise cancellation. They're not perfect, but they're the best I've found so far.
Vela here, Florida Flight Sports. If you've ever seen any of my videos, you know that I love to fly down low. It's my favorite part of flying paramotor. You have the sensation of speed, you can smell the animals, you get the bugs hitting you in the face. It's awesome. Before I fly low, I always overfly a new location 1 or 2 times at 50 feet, then 25 feet. because of obstacles that we can't see from the air, especially power lines.
Man, that was fucking close.
They're almost invisible until it's too late. And remember that when you're flying low like that, at any time, if you have an engine sputter or failure, you may have to land within 2 seconds, so be prepared.
Wings coming up nice. You got it, brah. You got it, brah. Woo! My turn. If your trimmers slip after launch, it's an easy fix. Just clean the spring with a little compressed air and some WD-40. Then gently file down the teeth with a small file and they'll be good as new. So say I want to land here. If I mentally move that spot 30 feet ahead of it and aim for that, I stand a better shot of hitting the intended target. A good spot landing will save you a lot of walking, and getting good at them will help you land in a tight spot if your engine quits.
Oops.
All right, man, Eric and I are here. We made it. Gonna pick up something to drink. Nah. A Diet Coke, Snickers, and we're set. You ever done this before, Eric?
No, this is my first time. First flight of my Dudek Hadron, too.
Mine too.
Were y'all the ones on the chute?
Yeah.
Where'd you take off at?
It's only like 2.5 miles from where we started.
Oh, okay.
Small land out with old Billy, Mr. Willfly. First time landing out. Yep. Gas station, Exxon.
I think we got a new LZ out of the deal too.
Yeah, he was pretty cool about it.
How many props have you broken, Eric?
In about 2.5 years, I've been through 3. The common denominator, other than Will was with me each and every time, is I was trying something new. I was trying to get off the ground as soon as possible. The first one, punched the gas before I leaned back. I tripped, face planted, prop hit the top of the cage, broke the prop. Second time, was trying to get up, didn't lean back. I almost got into a twist, bent my frame and prop. And then the last time I decided I was going to trims in on my Colorado all the way, get the most lift possible for speed.
Right.
And I believe with the full power, I thought I should have it, enough lift, and I kind of jumped in the seat a little bit, stalled the wing. I tripped, face planted, prop hit the top cage, broke the prop.
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, I've been in the same situation, and I'm thinking, okay, if a little bit of trim is good, a lot of trim must be awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, Eric.
What's up, Sky fam? This is Rain with Lone Star Paramotor, and I have a bit of a more thorough pre-flight checklist that you can follow. These things include your propeller bolts, swing arm bolts, your throttle function / handle, any loose straps or Velcro straps, motor mounts for wear and tear, your air box to make sure it's not loose, netting should be nice and snug, your fuel level, check your harness adjustments, your wing and your lines to make sure there's nothing funky going on. Last but not least, your head bolts, and not just the ones on your engine, but the ones in your noggin. Your headspace should be free, clear, and positive.
I think they have a groundhog problem.